Yeah, this is what you get when you build something and you don't beacon it. Messing up my walkway here. Come on. There we go. Geronimo. Oh, that's kind of cool. Like, swung him way over there. Uh-oh. There we go. Aha. How's it going, everyone? Javita here with a few random tidbits. I think I'll throw some links in the description so you can kind of jump around the video for the parts that you're interested in. Before we get down to business, I wanted to highlight kind of a newsworthy post on the Boundless forums as titled, "What would make you build/play more?" Marash commented that one of the deterrents to playing is basically feeling forced to roll multiple characters to be able to mine, build, and hunt effectively, stating a preference to be able to do all of these things on one character without being forced to split his attention between three. James, one of the developers, commented that, quote, "We have an update coming that allows players to do exactly this. We'll also retain alts for players who generally want to play as a alternate character." Quote, "I ultimately concluded that once we supported alts that allow players to access all skills across different characters, then there is little difference to accessing all skills from a single character. But we're also planning a review and reworking of the skill system itself. This includes the process of enabling skills and the skill trees themselves." He explains that the process of allotting skills is a real pain when reskilling a character. It's hard to plan and every step is permanent. So all of that information is pretty awesome. It is kind of annoying to have to click on every single skill at a time to spin the skill points, and then if you make a mistake it's hard to undo it. And so yeah, a better way of allotting the skills would be awesome, not to mention the ability to access all skills on a single character. I know a lot of people have been kind of upset that feel like they're being forced into splitting their attention across three characters and kind of having now a split identity. And so, yeah, I can see both sides. Some people really like having alts, and then some people just really don't want to be bothered with them. You don't actually know any information as far as how this will work. He does mention accessing all skills from a single character. So that doesn't say having all skills on a single character at the same time. I would venture to guess that there'd be maybe kind of like a dual or even tri-spec type system for a character where you kind of switch between pre-saved skill sets, but who knows? It's completely up to developers and how they want to do it. But at any rate, really exciting news. James goes on to say, quote, "Why aren't we already doing this? Well, we're rebalancing the crafting trees, preparing the initial release of the forge, working on the animation and prediction system, reworking the block and world palette systems, adding an optional profanity filter, and other stuff." Wowza. So, some of that we basically already knew that they were working on, but other things not so much. And at any rate, it is awesome to get kind of basically like reconfirmation of what they're working on currently. And yeah, that's just awesome. So a small post with a lot of awesome information packed into it. Pretty sweet. So anyway, just wanted to share that all with you before we get started. But anyway, let's get down to business. The main attraction is what we're looking at right now, and you probably have no clue what it is, but we are on Nashville, and Nashville is home to Sapphires. I've grown quite attached to mining with Sapphire hammers on Ringworld since they can one-shot basic rock and only take 2 hits to break resources. You could use a fancier hammer like a diamond hammer, but it takes more hits, and yeah, it just depends on your mining style and what you're doing. And preferences, but mining sapphires is kind of not exactly the most user-friendly. If you're unfamiliar, they spawn pretty much up in these floating mountains between the elevations of 180 is kind of the highest that they'll spawn, all the way down to level 100. And due to the way that mountains generate on natural, it pretty much means that they only spawn in these floating mountains. So if you look here, I found this mountain right here that has basically these two hot spots. This hot spot, basically where my cursor is this entire mountain. The second hot spot off to the left is actually this mountain over here. So I set out to just mine, but decided to run a couple of experiments. Experiment number 1 was just to kind of test the atlas and its interaction with beacons. So this entire mountain is beaconed. This allows me to kind of work on this as I go along, but it also tests out that resources will still show up on the atlas heat map even if they are beaconed, which I wasn't exactly sure, and it would really kind of complicate this experiment if beaconing the resources removed them from the heat map. So basically what I'm doing here, if you haven't already kind of figured out by just looking, I'm basically strip mining this entire mountain. So I started just above 180 of making all these tunnels and slowly working my way down to the minimum elevation of 100. And yeah, so I've made actually a lot more progress than I was even really aware. This is the first time I'm seeing it from out here like this, so it's pretty awesome. I think this is about, I mean, up here is 180 and I think I'm down to the 160 range, so still got a ways to go, but considering how many sessions I've allotted to doing this, really hasn't taken that long, and I do have a little bit of help, so but yeah, it should be interesting. I think so far I'm writing down the coordinates of all the sapphire veins. I have found quite a few actually, but I think I'm going to do an experimentation and see how well I can like plot them in kind of 3 dimensions, and so you can kind of see like the rough dimensions of the mountains and then be able to kind of rotate it around and see where all the sapphires are, and just kind of get a general idea of where they favor. I do believe there's some conditional spawning in that, like, you know, they're not going to spawn right at the surface or just below it. I think they're going to be nestled down several blocks underneath the surface, and they probably won't like this middle section right here. This mountain's kind of horseshoe shaped. So if we get on the other side here, kind of show you what I'm talking about. It's kind of hollow on the other side. So far all the sapphires I found are kind of over either here or here, but maybe if I go deep enough I might actually find some here as well, but it's kind of what the whole experiment is about. So this is just kind of to show off what's going on. Obviously this takes quite a bit of time to do, so break it up into a couple of different videos. And something else I almost forgot about the sapphire test mine is not only to just see, you know, how dense the sapphires actually are, but a further test for the atlas. I want to see if I can fully wipe out the heat signature for this mountain, and then since it's all plotted, basically unplot it all and see how fast the heat signature comes back, if at all. I mean, you know, it should eventually come back, but you know, just one regen cycle, is that enough to bring back at least some heat signature? Does it come back in full force, or just it's kind of a pale comparison? So kind of have a before right here, and then I want to do an after. I mine the heck out of this mountain, and then finally when I feel like I've done enough, unplot it all, let it regenerate, and see how fast it comes back. So I think, at least to me, this sort of thing really fascinates me, and it's really been only since the addition of the atlas that we can really test this. Before the atlas, the only way you could really do this would be to mine out the entire mountain, see what you get, let it regenerate, and then mine it all out again, which is not the most fun idea, at least. So enough rambling about that. Moving on to other things, T. Panara kind of requested a couple of days ago that I make a listing of all the buffs from Foods and Brew. So I made a post kind of detailing all of this. So jump over here, and got quite a bit of information so far. Got descriptions for what the buffs actually do, and for many of the brews I already have like the values of how much they heal and for how long they last, if it's like a heal over time. There are a few brews that I still need to test a little bit more, particularly the Luminous brew, and then have pretty much all of the energy values for all of the foods. What I don't have is I have the buff rank, so like Starberry Pie gives you a rank 5 buff, but for how long that actually lasts, I'm not 100% sure. I'm in the process of crafting these foods, so if you're curious what these buffs do, you can check out the post. I'll throw a link in the description. And if you have like information you'd like to contribute, feel free to post on this thread, and yeah, I'll add it. And like I said, I'm in the process of crafting, so I'll kind of re-verify any results that are shared as I am able. So pretty awesome there. And then finally, I also wanted to do kind of like a little bit of a channel update. I've been meaning to do this for quite some time. And let's see here if I can jump over. Dashboard might work. So I'm actually pretty amazed at the recent growth. I think I'm going to blame that on the recent epic updates, probably starting basically with meteors all the way up to current day. 188 was an insanely huge patch, kind of the accumulation of a lot of background work is what I think the devs said. But yeah, I think there's a lot more interest in Boundless, and as people find Boundless, I think they find my channel. At least I think that's how the ordering goes. So kind of the purpose of the channel update portion of this video is one, awesome. I mean, I started thinking about making a channel update. I think I wasn't even at 300 subscribers, and now I'm almost, I'm approaching 400. And so yeah, I mean, number one, that's amazing. Love it. Number two, I feel like it would be awesome if there's at least a possibility for people to maybe find my channel and then find Boundless. But in order to do that, I think I need to diversify my channel just a little bit. So my loose general plan is I've signed up for something called keymailer.com. You all might be familiar with it. Basically, you can request free keys for games, with the understanding that you'll make some kind of video content for it for YouTube or any of the other platforms. So, but in order to qualify for that, I do need to have a little bit more diversity on my channel. So I really like focusing on Boundless. That's kind of where my passion is, and it seems to be working so far. It's gotten me this far. But I feel like there's room to kind of work in a video or two a month of kind of showing off some other games, and maybe that will draw in some attention from people that aren't necessarily aware of Boundless and introduce them to Boundless as well. So kind of a dual, maybe help promote my channel and help promote Boundless at the same time, because I mean, I feel it, my personal opinion, I feel Boundless is awesome, and it's like I want to share it with the world. But yeah, so that's kind of my loose idea of what I would like to do. I've also been doing a lot of experimentation this year with just kind of trying to optimize the workflow. Year one of doing YouTube was just learning how to use all the software. I kind of walked into this not really knowing how to do anything, but confident that I could teach myself how to do it, and was excited to learn. And now I just want to really optimize it and increase the amount of content I'm producing. So release 188 was actually a really great practice in doing just that. I think in like 1 week I don't remember, like it was over 90 minutes of not just gameplay or anything, actual like tutorial / introduction, which takes a lot more kind of production and editing. And so yeah, I feel like, at least for me, that was pretty epic and a really interesting and fun challenge. In the past, I was kind of like, okay, one video a week. I'd like to increase that to, 3 or more videos a week of different kind of varieties. So I've been really hyper focused on doing kind of tutorials and with a few like community showcases here or there. But yeah, I actually got a request not that long ago, and I've gotten several in the past as well to do a proper Let's Play. I've always sort of intended to do one, but at a certain point it's like I was so familiar with the game that it didn't seem to make a lot of sense. But with these recent updates, they've changed so much, the crafting and just everything. It's almost, I started a little over a year ago and it's like a completely different game. So I think a Let's Play makes more sense, and I think I'll try it out and kind of see how it goes. Lots of rambly thoughts there. Trying to think. I think that pretty much covers it. So, yeah. So as far as diversifying the channel, at least initially, I'm probably just going to use whatever's already in my Steam library. I already have like over 200 games. So as far as diversifying, what I would like to do is kind of stick with this style of game. Block building, survival, not necessarily MMO, but just to kind of keep it relevant to what I already focus on. I'm not exactly sure when I'll be able to post these. I think I'll make a 2 or 3 videos on 2 or 3 different games and kind of post them close together to kind of push me over the edge to be able to qualify. So at any rate, I just kind of wanted to give you all a heads up that at some point in the future I'm going to diversify my games just a little bit. I still want to focus on Boundless. I've gotten most of my subscribers by doing Boundless content, so I just want to reassure you all that I'm not like going to abandon it or anything. I am way too obsessed with Boundless to do something like that. Anyway, this was Javita. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and yeah, if there's anything you didn't like, please let me know down below. Until next time, peace.